Good evening. Welcome to DLP TV, a new vision for St. James North. That is going to be our discussion tonight. We're going very political, ladies and gentlemen, very, very political. We're in the midst of our campaign in St. James North. And while I refer to you, we have Dr. Derek Alleyne to my far left. It's Melissa Howard, who is our candidate for Christchurch West Central. To my immediate right, everybody in Barbados now knows Miss Felicia Dujon. And we're going to talk about your nomination today.
Okay.
And the candidate for St. Michael Central and president of the Democratic Labour Party, Senator Andre Worrell. Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Last week, we went to the Treasury with Miss Dujon to pay in the $250. You don't mind me mentioning the figure?
No, they should. They should.
And your impressions, how did it feel? You're on the way to becoming a candidate for the constituency of St. James North and eventually and hopefully, and with God's will, a parliamentarian. How was that day when we went to the Treasury? What impressions are left with you?
Well, I first would like to thank the party for being there and our members. I'm very pleased with their support that we received on that day. It was very encouraging and very supportive at the same time. And also the media, thank you for covering it as well, because many persons, not only in Barbados, but in the diaspora, would like to know what is happening within the country. It was a very humbling experience. It is where you get to understand this is bigger than you. It's not about Felicia Dujon, nor about the Democratic Labour Party, but the bigger essence is about the people of Barbados. So this is, I think it is an experience, a defining moment for me too. It is an experience where you recognize that you are on a journey that is more than about you, but is greater than you. And to think about what it takes to get there, I think that is something that I've thought about. But to actually have the experience, it was a bit nerve-wracking at the same time. And I was glad that everyone was there because you understand what is the requirements that it would take from you. So I think it was a very positive outcome towards that.
Okay. Just let me remind our audience that we're all very tired. we did nomination day today, and Felicia and all of us are fresh from our motorcade.
Yes.
We drove around the constituency, and Felicia has been talking for the entire afternoon to the constituents from the back of a truck.
Yeah.
Yes, down to earth. Treasury Day, Dr. Ali was there.
I was happy. I was really, really happy it was there. And you can see the nerves coming from Felicia at first, but once she got into the room, everything was just heavenly. And I'm very proud of her.
And the party support.
Oh yeah, it was good. And you know, it showed that people are connecting again, and that people are good. And yes, it was a good party. Feeling and expression of confidence, not only in the party but also in Felicia. She has that personality that she can draw you out, draw you to her.
Senator President Andre.
Well, for me, it was just checking another box off the importance of the day, getting in that $250, and like everyone said, seeing the way how the party members just came out and supported.
Yes.
And then also the comments that you saw on Facebook and then from people as well, because you get hearing this message, we want her to win.
Yes.
We want Felicia to win. So that is just the start of the moment. So I'm very proud of Felicia as a candidate, the way how she's thrown herself into the role, and she has been working very hard and tirelessly.
Okay.
So I see it as a continuation of a journey.
Well, let us say that Andre speaks tonight with a voice of authority. He is the campaign manager.
Yeah.
He's ticking boxes.
Yeah, he's ticking boxes. Melissa, Treasury Day, the day we went to the Treasury.
Okay, it was
a large sum of $250. We're not a rich party.
all error barrels, by the way. All error barrels.
Make that an issue tonight. The question of money.
Money.
Yes.
Against which we are fighting. But Treasury Day, your impression.
It was the first experience for me, seeing a candidate going to pay the $250. I was happy to see the reception that Felicia had from the members of the party. I was also happy to see persons like Verla de Pisa in the crowd, encouraging Felicia, another woman. What was most talked about on that day was how well Felicia dressed.
Yes.
And the shoes. I even
How come the men did not in this perspective?
I even asked her, to get me a pair of the shoes. So you will see me in the yellow and blue shoes soon. So we have a comment online. You are dressed well, carry yourself well, and spoke well. Kudos, Lady Dujon.
Excellent. Give credit to the person who is that.
Toya's Black Girl Magic.
Toya's Black Girl Magic. Thank you, Toya's Black Girl Magic. All right, let us jump to nomination day, which is the big day. This is on today's date, you become officially the candidate for the Democratic Labour Party in St. James North. I know you are going to use the word humbly, but give our audience a sense of what today meant to you.
It was a day in history for
Day in
me.
history for you.
I know that perhaps centuries from now, we will be found in the history books that we took a stance against poor governance in this country. And so when I walked in, this is how I felt that I am making history, not only for myself, but for the children that I saw at the school, the young girls and the boys, that we're doing something on their behalf. And it is also a school that I have championed for in terms of the environmental issues that they've had. And so it was a moment for me that I am seeing that I'm back in that same school doing something that I will continue to do for them, which is to advocate on their behalf, but in a different capacity. So it's moving yourself away from an advocate into a policymaker. It's remarkable. And so when I walked in and I saw everyone, all our comrades, my family member, my husband, it meant that this is where we're headed. And it's a very serious matter. And I think that is the other part that we have to look at, that yes, we had all the fanfare from which we'll speak later on, but it's very serious business that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the business of the people. And because of that, we have to, change our scope, the way that we think and the approach that we take in that matter. What I can say is that we speak quite a lot about computerizations of our services in Barbados and how much money is being spent. And the time that it took in terms of getting the forms prepared. I think all of these kinds of services that we have to think about. And I think this is what we need to advocate for. Because if we're sitting there and it took quite an hour just to sign documents, you can almost imagine how a citizen feels when they go to any of the government offices.
And you get more nervous and think you've forgotten something.
Yes, well, it was because, and I'm glad that I had a very good team and a campaign manager because everything was in place. So when it releases some of your conscience as well, because it allows you to think that everything is prepared. But I think that whoever's responsible for that ministry, and I need to applaud the Electoral Commission as well and the staff. They work very tirelessly and very helpful today, but you can see that they're under a lot of pressure because they're still doing things, a lot of manual work that could be done computerized. I mean, you can come in, have forms electronically so that when we come, we can just sign those forms. And these are the issues that we speak about, where government tells you about spending millions of dollars to computerize all the civil government offices, but yet still something so basic is not being done. And I think it's important. I think this is part of what I have been advocating, that we pay taxes, but we're not receiving the services that is required. We're not receiving the services that we pay for. And so all of this, I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it, that we have to make those processes much easier and make our civil servants more efficient in terms of the services that they provide to us.
I could jump in with a quick joke.
But you're a campaign manager, so we can't say no to you.
But to speak to the nervousness of the situation, because I am one of these persons that like.
But you and I want you to stand, and he said no. You always sit.
But there was one point when one of the proposers got up from the desk after speaking. I was there. Oh God, don't tell me that. He forgot something.
Yeah, yeah.
So then when he went to and he came back and I asked him, he has everything, but he told me he actually just went to open up his church.
Yes, correct.
So that the people could, so that the person
I was nervous too.
Oh God, don't tell me that he forgot.
Yeah.
But to me, for this day, the nomination day, another box check.
Yes.
And to
Just
me,
manage.
it was almost a sigh of relief
Mhm.
to know that you've gotten this far.
Mm.
Because if you don't get past the nomination,
Wow.
the election is over.
That's it.
Yes.
And not that I had any difficulty thinking that we would be able to get the persons, but I was glad to see that we were able to do it and so efficiently
Mhm.
without any issues. And comment was there about the drums from Cabo, right?
Really?
That made the day. Someone made that comment not too long ago.
Mhm.
But when we were leaving, I really felt this spirit of merriment because then when I realized, those drums and that trumpet out there, those are ours.
Yeah. So that stands up with you.
That's it.
Andre.
Yes.
The drums.
The drums and everything.
It was a horn, saxophone, something.
Trumpet.
Trumpet. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to take a light moment with you, Felicia.
Oh.
We met your husband for the first time. Very shy.
Yes.
And I remember saying to him, "Come, husband, smile."
Yes.
Tell us a
Well,
little bit
my
about
husband
Michael.
my husband Michael. He's very much of an introvert.
Mhm.
He's from St. Philip, and most people from St. Philip are very quiet people.
People.
Yeah, yeah, very quiet, very introverted. And I told him that this is what we'll be doing. But not only my husband, but also my brother's mom, who came as well.
Yeah, we met her.
And I
Beautiful
told them,
person.
yes, I told them that the media will be there. And they were like, oh, no, we can't do the media. And then I had to explain that it is all part of the process. And what is important is that the team will be there with them. And I think when they saw everyone and how they were embraced, and I want to thank the Democratic Labour Party members and everyone, thank you so much. They felt so welcome.
Well,
when
tell
they
him
come
that
in. Thank
in
you
these
so
things,
much.
the media will focus on the
Yes,
silent husband. kind of things.
yes.
Andre told me someday, saying, "My goodness, another one."
Oh,
When he told me he went to lodge.
yes. Yeah, he's a lodge man too.
Andre went to lodge.
Yes,
as well.
and he was a head boy too. So
My goodness.
so there's and I think that's just that all of these experiences is experiences that people live for, and one day they will sit back and think about it, that experience that they
We were
had,
looking forward to seeing the
the little
little
ones.
ones,
But
yeah.
it's a school day, but I
Yeah.
hopefully they will, because one day they will. But I think it's important that how everyone comes in as a family, and this is the remarkable part of being a member of the Democratic Labour Party, that people need to know that how welcome that you feel,
Mhm.
that people embrace you automatically. Once
Yes.
you a comrade, they embrace you because we have one purpose. And this is something I thought about as well. I was saying, well, the majority of us are here, they're not being paid to be here. They just be here
Yeah.
for one cause, and we're binded by that one cause is for the upliftment of
Country.
people and
Yeah.
the country,
Yeah.
and that's what's remarkable.
Thank you. Well, just tell husband Michael, the 4-year-old and
Yes,
the
yes,
8-year-old, that they now become the relatives of a public figure.
yes, yes,
Hopefully they can handle it.
yes, they can.
Melissa, impressions of
After them.
nomination.
When you come to
Or you do.
Uh.
Impressions of nomination day.
Well, I'm the rookie in the crowd, so everything is new to me.
No, that's fine. I think we were about to get a shot from nominate. Yeah, let's get the shot. Producer director from we can get it again? Keep going. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so everything is new for me.
Mhm.
I didn't expect the process to be that long. I thought that we would be in and out probably in 15 minutes.
Mhm.
So to be there for like an hour was surprising. But what was so special to me was the bright-eyed children that were just looking on, smiling, and just taking in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And when they embraced both yourself and Felicia at the end, that was, a lovely sight to see the children taking part
So
in the
that's the
process.
memorable part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're good with children.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are. Yeah.
We're good with children. Derek, you were busy otherwise
Yes.
today. But tell our audience about the transition from private citizen to politician. What's that like?
if you wear the wrong shirt,
Uh-huh.
if you go to the wrong party,
Mhm.
if you get places late, the way you speak,
Uh-huh.
you become
Your flaws become Magnified.
magnified.
yeah.
So you always gotta be on guard.
Yeah.
And when you want to be yourself, you still have to be conscious wherever you are.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge that and if you're not prepared for it, it would throw you down.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that Felicia is prepared for it. I see it every day in the field with Felicia. We were sitting yesterday. I don't get ahead of myself. We were sitting down. And an old gentleman in a red Barbados party cap came up to Felicia. And Felicia hugged him. So I said, "Oh, where is going?" Then he must say, "Can I have a picture?" So then you have Felicia in her blue and yellow, and the man in the Labour Party cap sitting down next to each other, comfortable. So she learned very quickly how to be herself, not separating people, but embracing everybody. And I think that's a joy. And as a public figure now, she has to take the left and the right, the good, the bad, and the indifferent, and try to make the best out of whatever thing she has with them. I think she's well on her way in doing that. From what I've seen, she's become my people. And I was very, very, very proud this morning when they heard the noise and got the feedback.
And joyful noise.
Yeah. But that story with the children too.
Yeah.
Because they really not meant for us.
Andre, the transition from private citizen to politician, what's your experience?
Well, don't ever get the impression that you can go anywhere and people don't know you. So it's
How is that for you? You going to Lucy,
right.
and somebody says, Andre, how does that hit you? You like it? You don't like it?
Well, you have to get accustomed to it. It's not a matter of if you like it or not, because sometimes you also benefit from it as well.
Yes.
Sometimes though,
I think most politicians like it. Actually.
yeah, but sometimes though it can also work against you.
Well, it depends on what you're going there for.
It also depends on the person serving you on the other end as well. But it's something that you need to get accustomed to and realize that you no longer have a private life. The simplest thing that you may be doing, like for instance, a simple thing that I did in December, renewing driver's license and stuff like that, from the time I walked through the door, it was politics.
Really?
It was politics.
From the public or people working in there?
From the public standing there,
Really?
telling me, because
Oh yeah,
there was
those
a
lines
long
along
line of people,
yeah.
y'all need to do something about this.
Yeah.
Right.
That was
Right.
the conversation.
That's optimistic.
Right.
So
So it's very soon, and we will do it. And this is the opportunity for Barbadians to actually send that message that they want something done about these.
with all the computerization, long lines outside, Pine and Christchurch, Oystons, and St. James hold down.
Yeah,
I went to do my driver's license and I couldn't do it.
exactly.
Could not do it.
So being in public life, the people that you may want to tell off, you can't.
Well, we gotta do some telling off the bar that first meeting.
That's the only way that you can tell off.
But on that issue, I don't mind saying to the public that last night we met and we reminded ourselves that we would meet the Barbados Labour Party at the nomination center and that we would be very dignified. And I give credit to our Barbadian culture that when we interacted today, it was very decent on both sides.
Correct.
I mean, give them some credit. They're not going to get a lot after this. But the interaction was smooth. People said hello to each other and moved on. Melissa, you saw that?
Yeah.
Your impression?
Well, at the end, we saw the Barbados Labour Party members at the end, and Kelly and I were walking through, going to the car, and they were,
When we left.
when we left.
Of course we were
Yeah,
first.
we were first. So we
And that's
saw,
the bottom.
so we saw some on the left and some on the right.
They look
So
friendly, though.
so I was like walking through, like Cablo was mentioning the Red
Part
Sea.
of the Red Sea,
So the Red
yeah.
Sea was parted, and we were just walking through on dry land to the car. And some of them, interacted with us in a very cordial manner, shouted us and said hi and what's not. So everything
No
was
hostility.
no
from
hostility. Yeah.
Good.
The news said Democratic Labour Party out of the gates first. Wilkinson?
And
Wilkinson.
I must say that on that note, that I'm very proud of our people because that was not the only opportunity that we interacted with them.
Mhm.
I was very proud of our people in the dignified manner in which they carried
of
themselves.
course.
Focus on the business of the Democratic Labour
Yeah.
Party and representing the people,
Yes.
and you go about your business in a dignified manner.
Mhm. We did a motorcade this afternoon, and this young lady spoke most of the time at the motorcade.
Mhm.
You need some rest.
Yeah.
From today. But you do that now, Director?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll hear a speech from today from Ms. Dujon.
Dujon, it's nomination day. How are you feeling? Just went through the process. And how are you feeling right now?
It's a humble experience. You recognize that you're doing something that is bigger than you. You recognize that now you're in the position to make the difference that you have to make and represent the interests of the people. So I believe that it is also a spiritual element to it, that I felt that I have to really work out and serve in the best interest of the people and not be self-interest in my own affiliations or anything of that nature, but really to support the people and to advocate on their behalf.
Mr. John, you spent a lot of time now with your prospective constituents. How has the feedback been and how has that made you feel about your chances in this by-election?
I don't think it's more than my chances. I think the people of St. James North have been given the opportunity to right the wrongs that this government has done to them. I think on a local level, I believe that the people need the kind of intervention. They need different type of representation. They've had this representation for the last 7 years. And I believe it is time for them to recognize that there are other ways of management of this constituency. A different type of leadership is needed. It's too self-interest. It's always about me. You have a government where only one individual is being served and not the populace. And I believe the people of St. James North will make the difference. I believe they will use their good sense of consciousness and recognize this is about the country. It is not about party. It's not about any other associates or who is more popular or who has the more fets or the great meetings or things of that nature, greater meets, or who has an office or who does not. It's about the people and this country. So on a national level, we are advocating and explaining to the people of the constituency of St. James North that this is the time to right the wrongs. This is the time that you can make a difference for the people of Barbados, and God has given you the opportunity to do so. We need a stronger voice in Parliament. And the Barbados Labour Party already have all the seats. They do not need any more to infringe those oppressive laws on the people of Barbados. So on a national level, I think the people of St. James North, it is your time to make the decision that will be a placement. It will be a beacon for all Barbadians.
Based on your time on the ground, have the people of St. James North indicated to you they're ready for a change?
They have been ready. They have been ready. I think they've been ready for a very long time. And I believe when they heard the resignation of the MP, I think they knew what was coming. And again, as I said before, it's about a government that is self-interest. It's not about the people of country, but it's really about one individual. The government right now is serving one individual, and the Barbados Labour Party is sending another person to serve that one individual and not the interest of the people. And I would like the people of St. James North to know that you are making a decision for Barbados. We have to save Barbados at this point. We have seen what is happening. We have seen the number of lives. So we need to ensure that we exercise our democratic right.
Excellent. We're back. We did the well said, Felicia. As always, you're really impressing Barbadians with your ability to express yourself, even without preparation, spontaneously, that is.
And we have a comment there from Patricia
Yes.
Calendar. Mr. Thorne, I say kudos to you. You have set standard that is great for Barbados. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We were at church on Sunday. Producer director, can we see Sundays? And the importance of Sundays. Okay.
Good morning,
It's about setting the standard.
and thank you very much, Pastor. I watched the screen very carefully during the singing. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. And it must have been new mercies every morning over the last 70 years that we have survived as a party. And we accept the pastor's very gracious welcome to us this morning. But I want to, without being ungracious myself, say to him that we consider that we are on sacred ground and that our business here is not the business of politicians, but we come into this sacred ground, in a sense, lowering the symbols of the party, lowering even national symbols, and raising the cross before which we humble ourselves in the presence of the Lord. And so I say, I'm not the leader of the opposition this morning. There's no president of the Democratic Labour Party in here this morning. There's no general secretary. There's no executive. There's no general counsel. We come into this sacred space as children of God. And you do know that there's business before us beyond this place, outside this place, in a few weeks. And we want to give the undertaking to you, Pastor, and to your church, that we will conduct ourselves as children of God. With decency, with honesty, with humility. And I did mention the cross, and the cross, I believe, is symbolic of that supreme sacrifice that God made for all of us. And indeed, the cross takes us to a place of love. And we must not and will not ever forget God's love. And Pastor and church, I want to promise you that we will pursue those endeavors when we leave this sacred ground and make ourselves examples, and the examples taught to us by Christ, to make sacrifice for others and to show love to others. Because ultimately, I want that to be the business of this party. I really do. And so we thank you for hosting us this morning. We thank you, Pastor. Very gracious welcome. And we ask that you pray for us. There have been many trials and tribulations in our time over the past 70 years. And those trials and tribulations never leave us. But we come this morning to ask for your prayers and for your help and for God's guidance. And we go forward with the words again, great shall be his faithfulness. And morning by morning, we look forward to those new mercies, because we are yet frail in this world with all of our trials and tribulations. We say thank you once again, sincerely, from our hearts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The importance of that was to set a standard in advance. That was last Sunday when the party celebrated its 70th anniversary at Restoration Ministries in Britton's Hill. And the importance of that, one, was to recognize that when political parties go to a church at the invitation of the church, when we are being hosted by a church, I think we must respect the sacredness of the domain. I have seen politicians go into the church and go into the pulpit and start to preach politics, which is secular. And I don't think you should do that. I think it dishonors the occasion. I don't think politicians, I've seen a politician go there and talk about the number of houses that he proposes to build and that kind of thing. And it is sometimes contentious politics. And I would appeal to all politicians on this side and all politicians across Barbados, that when you go into the church, we call it the house of the Lord, to respect that space. It is not secular space. It is sacred, and not to discuss politics, but to defer to the authority of that church, to defer to God, and to treat the domain of church respectfully. And that was our business last Sunday. We set a standard. We gave an undertaking that our campaign would be decent, it would be clean, and it would be of a high standard. So I felt that is why I asked that should be played. You want to read a message?
No, just
Melissa?
showing the photo from a supporter all the way from Paris,
Really?
supporting Felicia Dujon.
Paris?
Yeah, Paris.
That's not Peter Wickham, though.
Don't get me in trouble with that.
Yes, what's up?
So we have some comments online.
Barbara Hunt.
Uh-huh.
Right. I'm very impressed with Felicia Dujon. No fumbling or mumbling, but very fluent in her responses. She is an asset.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
That's how the truth comes out very fluently.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
You don't have to feel.
Paul saying that you really did look the part.
Mhm.
Who's
Meaning
speaking
you.
to Ralph? Oh, me?
You.
Oh, thanks, Shirley.
Yeah.
That's my friend. He speaks as a friend. The motorcade. And I drove at the back for some of the time. I joined late.
I didn't even know you were there.
Yeah, I was there from
To the
Ashton
party.
Hall.
Okay.
I joined at Ashton Hall.
Nice.
And it occurred to me, you were speaking, and then Kelly was speaking, and then Melissa.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, look, the truth is, we have to tell Barbadians, no politician is going to knock on every door. It's physically impossible.
Impossible.
And I was there saying, I wonder if Barbadians will reach the point where they'll accept that kind of a canvas, because it was effective.
Mhm.
I mean, the speeches were great. And I was wondering, she's making tomorrow night's speech tonight. What's she going to say tomorrow night? As a canvassing technique, what is the future of the motorcade, do you think, Andre?
Well, I think it gives visibility to the candidates, especially in a short, snap election like this for a by-election, or even if it's a general election.
Yes.
It's an opportunity for persons to see who the candidate
Yes.
is, other than seeing them on paper
Yes.
or on the news. And it is also an opportunity for the candidate
Mhm.
to interact with a wider cross-section of people.
Yes. Yes.
So it is something that we have to recognize,
Mhm.
especially if we are in this practice of calling elections at such short notice,
Mhm.
that it will become a regular feature of the campaign trail.
Yeah.
And I think it's an effective way to cover as much ground as possible.
Mhm.
Yes, persons still would want you to knock on doors and to greet them, and our candidate is still doing that.
Yes.
Right? But obviously, you want to cover as much base as possible it's not even 21 days for
That's
the
right.
election cycle.
That's right.
So you want to cover as much ground as possible, and that is a very effective way of doing it.
Derek, in past, you and I have gone this road before, and we've heard the comment, well, if he ain't come here, don't expect no more. I have to see him. How you've experienced that.
I think
If I don't see him,
I think
I
about
think
election is different.
it's different.
Yeah, it's different. You still gotta to meet and greet people.
Yes.
But you need every technique you can find.
And the
Every
motorcade works.
right. And it was also, to my view, the sight of Felicia in the back of the pickup
Yes.
that
Yes.
speaks to her qualities and her ability to get down on the ground
And people were honking their horns.
to be regular. She went up on a big trailer,
Right, right.
hundreds of people. She on a little Mickey Mouse truck.
Yes, yes. That's how we are.
Going
We're keeping it humble.
And she's speaking.
Mm.
She hadn't shared with the others, but she's just speaking. She's
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
truck and she's saying, please come in and give me your support. This is
Mhm.
Felicia Dujon. I am your next representative.
Yeah.
And that is making a statement, in my view, about the kind of person she is
Mhm.
and the kind of representative that she will make,
Mhm.
because she's joining a community at different levels.
Yeah, yeah. Melissa, you were there.
Mhm.
You've been on the ground, and you were on the motorcade. First motorcade for you? Political motorcade?
Yeah, it is my first.
Mhm.
The difference, as Andre said, you get into different areas in the constituency in a faster time.
Mhm.
I could, in the space of an hour, we probably went around the entire border of the constituency.
Mhm.
It was amazing to see that persons were not close to her, but they were afar off on that side of the street, and they were waving, trying to get her attention.
Mhm.
So it shows that there is love for Felicia in the constituency, and that people are dying to see her, dying to hear from her, and want an opportunity to see her at any time.
Anytime.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some hard politics now.
Mhm.
We'll take off the gloves.
Mhm.
You've canvassed with Felicia just about every day for the last week and some.
Mhm.
And don't get nervous. I am hearing the other side repeatedly say that they have met all these people and that they've been on the ground. The opponent.
Mhm.
Have you seen the opponent once in your canvassing?
No, I've never
Not
seen the opponent.
Are you out
no.
there morning, noon, and evening?
Yeah, never seen it.
And then you turn on your TV,
Mhm.
and I turn on mine or go on Facebook, and I'm hearing these interviews. Oh, we went once, and we're going back twice, and we're going to cover it. I have not seen it.
No, I've seen others, but I haven't seen him.
Precisely.
Mhm.
Andre,
Mhm.
you've seen it?
I have not run into him in the field as yet.
Mhm.
And which is strange, because you should, because in a constituency like that, you should be butting into persons.
Yes, yeah. Politicians tend to fall over each other sometimes.
And
the same
what
street.
I've also heard too, not my one who have not seen him,
Mhm.
but it's the constituents
Precisely.
who are
Precisely.
saying they don't see him.
And I'm hearing these stories on the news that you're going back twice and three times, and I haven't seen it.
But you don't expect an ambassador
Mhm.
to be out in the street hustling.
Mhm.
He'll get others to do that for him.
Mhm.
So I think we need to clarify that this lady to my right has been on the ground. I don't know where you're finding this energy.
God.
And canvassing with you. I mean, she walks quite fast.
Wait.
I call her Pocket Rocket after the Jamaican sprinter, Shelly Ann.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him. Sunday. Look, this is politics. We are about to have an election in a few days. On Sunday, let me clarify that on Sunday we made a decision to go into
Baker's
Woods.
Yes.
And it's this self-contained community, one entrance, one exit.
Yes.
So when you're in there, it's an easy canvas. You just walk from house to house. And we ran into them doing what we call a meet and greet. And it was on this open area. And that's the first time I saw it.
Okay.
First time. Again, there was no interaction between us. We conducted ourselves in a very dignified fashion. And I want to say that in this community where you're doing a meet and greet, we expected, the LP is doing a meet and greet. Nobody's home. Everybody's out there.
We've met a lot of persons.
Just about almost every house we went to. And then we looked onto the field where there were red shirts, lots of red shirts. And we recognized the people.
Yes.
And they were not from
Bakers.
The public needs to know the truth. It was a cabinet meeting almost, yeah. The director tells it was a small cabinet meeting.
Yeah.
There were not a lot of people from the community at that meet and greet. So when the psychopaths and the cheerleaders go on social media and tell lies, we are coming here tonight to tell the truth. And we are honest voices for the people. Your impressions of the Baker's Woods canvas, you enjoyed it?
I did. And I think that's what's important, that we meet. And I have always said everyone who canvass with me or for the party, that we meet as many constituents as possible. We knock on every door. It's one thing to have a meet and greet. You can do that, but it's better to meet people where they at.
Yes.
It's better to see them in the environment, because when I've been knocking on doors, what happens is that the constituent will call me, let's go to the back. I need to show you this. Come to this side. I need to show you that.
And
Come
I saw your
inside.
farming skills on Saturday. You remember?
So everyone you get that opportunity. And I think if I have to be very open about this, I think it's very dishonest of a government who speaks about fairness and justice, that you'd want to call an election so quickly when you knew someone already the opponent had an entire year.
Yes.
And I have told
not only had an entire year in office.
in office.
Entire office.
So that it means
To
and
give him an advantage over you.
right, and I want to share that experience with the
Yes.
Barbadian populace so that they understand, coming from my perspective as a woman in politics, and the disadvantages that I have been placed at. And it's important that we know that. And so you have someone that uses that opportunity of being a knowing that they will be the next candidate for a particular, and you can hear the candidate repeats it,
Yes.
that I have an edge over you.
Yes.
I have known that I would
Oh,
be
the
running.
arrogance is there.
Yeah, and he
They're
tells
saying they're not arrogant, but
and-
the arrogance is
and
coming through.
it is shared everywhere.
Yes.
That I have been here and I knew that before you, so you're really at a disadvantage. I am going to use the privileges that I've had in government
Yes.
to build upon that as well. And I, in some cases, may also use the resources of government to do
Yes.
what I'm doing.
Yes.
And so when we speak about justice, this is what we mean. But when we
Precisely.
think about fairness, this is what we mean. And so when you have a government that practices such dishonesty and unfairness and injustice, because what you're doing, you're not harming Felicia Dujon, you're harming the constituents,
Precisely.
because they do not understand why, they have to be rushed for a by-election. And also that I think it should have been if you're talking about justice and an ethical and moral person, that you give both opponents equal time so that they understand what is happening and they get equal space to do. But because of the kind of governance and the kind of persons that this government is, you're saying that. So when I go to the constituents, I let them know very early that we do not have much time, but our voices will be heard. And as much as possible, night and day, I go to houses. I go to every house. I've heard, well, this is a B house and this is a D house. For me, it's a constituent. And I need to know what is the concerns and what is happening with that constituent. And I will try my best to, as I said, with those little legs, I will try my best to get to every constituent. I know it's almost humanly possible or physically impossible, but I will try my best to do that, because I think the constituents have the right to know who I am. And it is an injustice to them that they do not know who I am in terms of my presence because of the timing that we have. But I will try my best to do what is required so that they can get an alternative view of what is happening. They're hearing what the government is saying, but they also need to know what we as the party, what we have to offer, what Felicia Dujon, my perspective on the issues that have been raised in the constituency. You've had the same representative for the last 7 years, and they've had the same kinds of government or approach to the issues that they haven't resolved many of the issues that they have claimed to resolve. So you're having another candidate come in and speaking all those wonderful words, but there's no kind of, and I need to say that because I keep hearing we're going to turn St. James North like Silicon Valley. What are you talking about? Have you done the research? And I think because of also my academic background, what we tend to do is to look at the fundamental problems, and then we do research on how best we're going to approach and resolve those problems. You can't just be flying things. It's like saying, well, I know how a human being can fly and put some wings and hopefully it works. And this is how the government works. So what I'm seeing is a pattern of behavior, a pattern of thought, which is exactly what the government is doing now, that they're making all of these ideas, but when it comes to implementation, it doesn't work, because they're not doing what is necessary to allow it to work. So there's always a scientific approach to issues that can be resolved. And so you go into the communities and saying that I will do this and I will do that, but you don't have the evidence base to show how best. So what the party has been doing, and I have to applaud my team, is that we are there doing the empirical data research. So that when I come to the people, and I've saw some notes, some comments that, what is Felicia's policy? My policy has to be evidence-based. It has to be matters that will be resolving some of the problems that persons have, and not something airy, because I was not trained to do that. I was not trained to just throw ideas out there and hopefully something happens. That's not how we treat human beings. These are serious issues and serious concerns that people have, and we do not want that kind of lackadaisical approach to it. It's not going to work. And I think that's what I wanted to really say about what is happening on the ground. And you will not see them, because for them, as far as they're concerned, they have already won. They have the money, they have everything else. So for them, they do not have to put the kind of work that is required, because as far as they're concerned, it's a B constituency. So why should we work hard? Why should we go and knock on people's door when I can sit and everybody come to me? I can have a meet and greet and everybody just come to me. I don't have to go to them.
Arrogance again.
This is the kind of
Come to me.
approach that I have seen. And I think that the people of St. James North, they deserve better. They're Barbadians. And I think it's about time that we implement our own nature, that we need to have pride in ourselves and we need to treat our people with pride and dignity. We cannot treat, I don't know where that kind of behavior is coming from. It's not part of our culture to treat people that way. I think it's important that the people of St. James North, they recognize it as well. Because when I speak with them, they said, well, you know, we see somebody driving here, or we see somebody come in to tell us that we have to meet them. There are people in the constituency that cannot, they are not mobile in that way. And so you have to go.
The fundamental point I
Yes.
want to make, though.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You're a politician. Well, the fundamental point I want to make, you come with your merit, your individual merit, which is academic, which is intellectual, which is experiential. He does not come with that.
No.
He comes with office, with
Yes.
public office
Office
handed
handed
to him
out, yes.
opportunistically, Andre,
And they don't
so that the public is judging this lady on her own merit. Yeah. He is being judged as a minister. He has been handed this office. He has the resources of the state at his disposal. And that is a corrupt practice.
It is.
If you prepare a person for a representative office and give them ministerial office before they become a representative, that's an abuse of power, Andre.
The way I read that whole situation, I ask a very simple question. Why was Mr. Hickson terminated in less than a year?
We're going to come to that. We're going to come to that.
He was elected,
We're going to come to
made
that.
a minister,
We're gonna
and then
come to
less than a year, out through the door he gone.
that. Yes. Andre
And
wanted
I
to say something.
also, the whole thing is not really resonating with Barbadians because he's been
The
given,
whole thing of him being a minister.
being a minister, given a head start,
Yes.
but from being in the field in the constituency, it's not really resonating.
No.
If it was resonating,
Mhm.
there would not be so many people clamoring, I want to see Felicia.
Precisely.
And
Precisely.
also Felicia's work in the country of a whole
Oh, yes.
goes
Oh,
ahead
yes.
of her.
Yes.
After today, I spoke to someone, and then I asked him if he knows of our spokesperson for education, who's always there at the forefront. Oh, that is the person?
Yes.
Well, I know it was
Yes.
Felicia.
Yes.
That is the sort of response.
And this has been her own effort and merit,
Exactly, because
as
people,
opposed to him having official
Given.
office foisted on him.
right, people
to give
know
them-
Felicia as being passionate about education, about representing our young people.
Mhm.
And I think that Barbadians have also been fooled already by catchphrases,
Oh, yeah.
which is
Yeah.
the impediment
Mhm.
which her incumbent has. Those catchphrases,
Mhm.
which are not necessarily captivating the minds of the people,
Mhm.
because you're not necessarily seeing the work which goes along with it. But when you look at Felicia and her track record,
Mhm.
when you hear her speak, you hear the passion
Correct.
and you hear the commitment.
Yes.
And you know that this is a woman that will go to war for you,
Mhm.
that will stand up for you.
Mhm.
So I can see Felicia representing the mothers.
Yes.
I can see Felicia representing the young men out there who would want more out of their educational system,
Mhm.
who would want more in terms of job opportunities as
She's
well.
making that direct contact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw her in the fields with the farmers. She knows what she's
Yes.
doing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you have to recognize that the constituency has the farming community. And you know what? They're just like monkeys. They're mimicking what we're doing. Because I saw Felicia with a fart, and then I saw next day a video with
Really?
some person trying to plant something in the ground. or whatever.
Yeah.
You killed the plant, no doubt.
No?
You
They
get
killed the
that.
plant.
Look as though they were trying to, I don't know.
Stabbing the plant.
Exactly. But I know with Felicia that this is genuine because you're a farmer, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So hold it up.
Again, we're seeing the real person.
Exactly.
And they're projecting this
This
public figure,
Right.
who's been given the ministerial office.
Yeah, so you recognize that part of the St. James North community is farming, so I have to do something to show that I know about farming. but you don't generally. What are you
Precisely.
doing in cabinet
Mhm.
to promote farming? Have you done anything in
Nothing.
cabinet to promote farming?
Well,
Not a thing.
let us ask some questions. On the weekend, when we were going for our fellow, I think it's the day we had some fellow, and they were supposed to have had some robot. You're young, you know these things. Some
Robotic.
robotics. What was that about?
I am not
Some
sure.
seminar for children.
Yes.
And I heard a radio report and heard a couple of children in the
We passed
background.
the school.
And we passed the place where there was supposed to have been this a
Seems
launch of a
empty.
what? What was it? A launch of what? Something they were
robotic,
launching
yeah.
Computer program
for children.
for children.
We drove by the school, not one car. Gordon Gurney School. We drove by Gordon Gurney School. Car park empty, no children in sight. But there was this report in the media that this big seminar was held there.
Dishonesty.
And they
No
can't-
evidence of it.
Of it,
Having
they
taken
can't
place.
imagine.
You saw a photograph, Andre,
No.
No,
of it?
No.
All right, politics tonight. You saw a photograph.
No.
You saw one.
No.
Come
not
on.
with the children.
Come
using
on.
any
And they like to
robotics.
show off, so that we would have seen a video or
Yeah,
a picture.
We produce
Yeah.
photographs every day of our activities.
Mhm.
And you know, this is what is happening to the public. The public is being told lies.
The community center.
And we continue to be honest voices for the people.
Community center.
I wanted
Community
to go on to the geography and the demography of this constituency. Before I go there, Derek, you raised an interesting question.
Community Center.
Now, Blackman was transferred from the diplomatic field in Europe somewhere. He was appointed a diplomat there.
Mhm.
Now, these are all figures of privilege.
Right.
We see ourselves as people of merit.
Yes.
We
yes.
come with our merit.
Yes.
He is transferred from the diplomatic field
Mm.
in Europe into elective politics.
Yeah.
Hinkson leaves elective politics, leaves parliamentary service,
Mm.
well, parliamentary office, because he doesn't do any
Office.
service. And he is supposed to be going off to England. We can say this.
Yeah.
There is a rumor that Hinkson is
He's
going
already-
off to England
He's already there.
or wherever he's going.
Mm.
Mhm.
So why you bring Blackman out of diplomatic service and try to get him into parliament? Hinkson leaves parliament after how many years into this term?
He was. This is
22.
second term. This is
7
second
years.
term.
Yeah, well, in this term, he leaves after 3 years in this term,
Yes.
and he is destined for England. What's this exchange all about? Is this about rewarding individuals? Is this about elevating individuals for office, exchanging offices at whose expense?
People.
At the people's
At the-
expense. Derek,
Chairman had said to me,
will you call me chairman?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But I see
I'm moderating this.
I see the this is game playing.
Yeah,
Game playing
Yeah, it seems that way.
with the taxpayers.
at the taxpayers' expense.
I mean,
Precisely.
we witnessed it with George W.
Yeah.
North.
Yeah.
North.
Took blind out
Yeah.
off to Canada.
And then-
Yeah, yes, precisely.
and then this elevation of Blackman
Mhm.
Yes.
and his big works,
Mm-hmm.
big man,
Yes.
big vision,
Yeah.
but it is big debt,
Yeah.
big spending.
Precisely. Precisely.
So this is games.
It's a game at whose expense there?
And we are paying for it.
Precisely. Precisely.
Every time the Prime Minister gets into her games,
Mhm.
it's the cost of the taxpayer.
We're enfranchising people.
Barbados need to say stop it.
Stop it.
They need to
Precisely.
say stop it.
This exchange of
Yeah, man.
People
My
between
question is Mr. Hickson say
can't be sticking.
if he's going to
into the-
England,
Precisely.
cannot be-
Why is he leaving? They elected him for a term.
Yes.
He slides out of that office.
Yes.
And you bring in a man from the diplomatic field and seeks to slide him in there.
And when it comes to doctor, somebody that was supposed to
Dr. Reed, that was walking around with him for more than 3 years, expecting to be his successor. Yeah, but you bring in this Blackman chap.
Yeah.
Foist him on the people.
He had a pedigree though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they did mention that pretty
Yes.
early.
Very early.
Yes,
Right,
Yeah.
in the campaign.
The
And
pedigree lady, because she did it
pedigree.
in St. George.
Exactly. So she
Yeah.
repeated
And
it again.
Lineage, she's saying, oh, he has lineage.
Yeah.
Can you imagine in the Republic you're talking about lineage?
But we all saw what pedigree got, the state that pedigree got the workers in Barbados.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the person with pedigree has not done enough to represent the workers.
Nothing.
Mhm.
And given the shameless situation of working in Barbados, imagine that even government have people working on contracts and the pedigree person supporting it and not coming out and chastising the government for it. Many people in Barbados are not comfortable leaving their home and they work on the tyranny.
Mhm.
Because as long as you work on the contract, you got to do the bidding of the person because unless in order to pay your bills.
Maybe if you really think seriously, they just took a whole set of people out of the youth service.
Did they?
Yes,
Yeah.
dump them, send them into some other ministry and saying that they're reaching the age now, they really should be youth leaders.
Mm.
They're bringing a whole set of new set of youth leaders
Mhm.
and bring them in on contract. So they can probably get 2 or 3 year contracts where there is no pensionable rights, there's nothing. And I would expect the unions to be calling for murder.
Exactly.
Complaining, but I guess when you have pedigree, you don't treat
You're untouchable.
right. You don't treat workers the same way like us who don't have any pedigree.
We don't have.
We are working class. So
Yeah.
Because
yes,
those
yes,
issues
yes.
don't affect you
No,
because
no.
you have pedigree.
You know, we went to the nomination today with such strength, if I may say so, and pride.
Yes.
And I'm going to say this: we've been scoffed at on social media. Oh, they don't have money, so they can't even find a constituency office. And they're playing into the same thing again.
They don't understand that.
And we are preaching to the people of Barbados
Yeah.
that democracy is not bought. There's no price tag on democracy.
You can't buy it.
That if they haven't given us the subvention,
Right. No, they continue to say,
And we are going along.
Yeah.
we're going along, and our strength is our
Hard commitment,
precisely
right?
to the
And
people of Barbados.
I'm building fellowship.
And they are building a campaign on financial power.
Yes.
Oh, we have lots of money.
But that's the first comment they made.
But you know, Derek, I'm going to talk tomorrow night about their constituency office and the ownership.
Wow. It is.
So we're not saying anything tonight on that.
I want you hold on that too.
Yes, yes, I can check the title deeds. But this question of that we've been preaching about morality over money, and they are playing right into what we're saying because they're psychopaths on
You
Facebook
can't help it.
perpetuating this thing. How do y'all feel about that theme that we have made central to our campaign? Morality over money.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
It is the truth because every day when I'm in the field, this is what I see. I see a government that uses money as transaction.
Mhm.
So I will give you something if you give me something.
Yes, a transactional government.
It is
Yeah.
that it is
Yeah.
really what I see. And you know, when they talk about not having an office or they talk about, oh, we have a meet and greet, everything is about money spending and money spending. But it's not about enriching the people
Precisely.
because they're spending all that money. But then we have single mothers at home that are trying to make ends meet with children in that same constituency. And it really hurts my heart because I'm seeing that this is a government, you're in power. You have the opportunity to help those individuals, but you rather spend it on a campaign.
or a party.
You rather-
Or to bring in very expensive entertainers.
You need to,
go to
that's
East
what
Coast
you're doing
Gather-
while you
and have
have,
people jump up and down.
right.
Yeah.
Who leaves enfranchised?
Yeah.
Yes.
Entertainers.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars this government is spending
Right.
on
I
entertainers.
want to give the same business entertainers half the price.
Precisely.
No,
Precisely.
this is what it speaks very deeply about the kind of person that is in leadership with that
Mhm.
government.
Mhm.
It speaks about the leadership. What is important for you? Is it important to ensure that this particular candidate wins because you have your own motives behind it? Or is it about the people? And I think this is what really centers the party, which really centers me. So I don't care. I don't mind we working wherever we choose to work, whether it's through a van, whether I am sit behind an old truck. I don't care because my interest is reaching the people and I'm not about the glitz and the glams. It's about the people because I know what I have seen. I have seen what really affects what I my everyday transactions and interactions with people when I see how they live and how difficult and challenging and struggles that they have to go through. And then you have a government saying, well, I have all this money. I have all this access to wealth. It is not your wealth. It's not your money that you
Precisely, it's
use
people's
it.
money.
Yes. So there you are giving people $300. That's the tax. I don't know where the money is coming from. But I'm quite sure they were saying that it's the government money. But the government does not have money. It's our money.
It's
Or Bob
the
and Bob.
people's money.
It's
The government is the
you're
trustee.
giving it back to us. And so when you see people are struggling in this country and this government is out there showing all the glips and the glance, and it's as if they do not care how people are living on their everyday life.
We need to begin to ask the government to give account. We
Yes,
need to
we
ask
should.
the government if
We
it is
should.
putting money into private sector.
You should. You should.
And
We need to ask those
And
questions.
that's why we need Felicia to second that resolution that you are going to bring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without disclosing too much, because they steal our ideas all the time. But tell them, we have to reflect the condition of people in St. James North. And I must make bold to ask you, what are you coming across? What are the issues in St. James North that you think that they wish attention to be drawn to?
Well,
There's obvious.
cost of living would affect not only on the local,
Nationally.
but nationally as well.
Yes.
It really affects.
So it's affecting the people in St. James North. as
Yes,
well.
and then I think what the government does not understand, that you're seeing people are struggling and people are trying to make ends meet. They're working very hard. They're paying their taxes. They're doing what is required of them as citizens, law-abiding citizens. And there you are parading on it, with all those, wasting funds and having those big billboards and all of these things to show the people that, I can do that. And it's very bold and very disrespectful to citizens as well. What I have seen, to be quite honest with you, and if I can say it, I believe the people of St. James North need to teach this government a lesson. It's that simple. Based upon what I have seen, not only about the mismanagement, it's the disrespect. That that people, the young persons in the communities, what the struggles are for them. What the struggles are for the elderly. What the struggles are. Maybe they don't know.
I'm just going to say that.
Maybe they don't.
Let me ask Melissa. Melissa, you've been going across this constituency, and it's very kind of you to be working with your sister.
Thank you.
Every day.
She works very hard.
You're seeing people who are really happy with this government.
No, there's a lot of discontent in the constituency. This constituency was in the care of Barbados Labour Party for the last 14 years?
More than that.
Yeah, more than that. Yeah. So
From 91.
how much?
35.
35. Sorry.
Yeah, 35 years.
35 years.
45, the party held it only once.
One term.
Joe Payne, 86 to 91.
All right. So for the last 35 years, Barbados Labour Party was in care of this constituency. Every time the rain falls on the coast, there's constant flooding.
Yes.
We met a constituent who was at Lower Carlton last Saturday,
Yes.
who spoke about the flooding in the area. So after
That was
30,
the train?
In Trent.
Trent,
Yeah.
Trent. So after 35 years, they still haven't found the solution. So they're asking the constituents to vote for another Barbados Labour Party candidate.
Yes.
So it means that they're still not going to fix it.
Well, vote for minister.
Yeah, a
Well,
minister.
That's what they're telling us.
Yeah.
You bring him back from Europe. He's a minister. We want him in the lower house, so vote for him.
So they put him in the house.
So it's more about him than it is about the people.
Yeah.
Of course.
They made him a minister. He was in the Ministry of Finance. And we have a major issue with the cost of living in the country. People are struggling at the supermarkets, the gas pumps. They can't afford to pay the electricity bills. So people are crying out. So if you want anybody to blame for the cost of living, you can blame Chad because he was in the Ministry of Finance.
When they paying this $300?
On the 14th of May.
Wow.
Yeah.
Week before.
The 21st. Yeah. So
I mean, they're so obvious.
Yeah.
They are so obvious.
And they recently announced the increase of minimum wage to $10.50. So just a manipulation, playing my games, to make the people vote for them again. So these issues are not going to be solved.
People see into it.
Yeah.
I think we need to get someone to call up the NAS. Right? Now they told us to ask them what they'll be doing. Because people are calling, trying to get information about the $300, and you're not getting any answers because people don't know how the message came out today that some people got registered someplace.
Really?
And before it was once you had a national social security number, you were expecting to get your $300. But I made that comment, something on somebody said you don't have to register. But I'm heard today that this lady said that she got registered and she wants to know where. So I told her to call the NIS and find out. So I am tomorrow my business.
So you have to jump through hoops to get the 300.
I call in NIS tomorrow and ask what information has been given to them about paying this $300 because some people are expecting to come in their pension checks. Some people are expecting if they work and go on their income
So there's
statement.
a lot of doubt over it.
Yes, there's some questions. So
Tell me something, Derek. You get this $300, which is fine. It helps. Tell us about the impact of the following month when you don't get it. You've been in the trade union and so on.
Let me make this point.
You get it on the 14th. Or you make the point.
Let me make this point first. Now, this is happening in Dominica. Yes.
And Guyana as well.
Guyana,
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
this,
That's interesting.
yes, and you watch the countries, you know.
Yeah.
There are patterns.
Yes,
There are
indeed.
patterns.
Right, you leave that alone. baby.
But you get the $300 this month. And you're good with it. Anybody
Yeah,
gets
of course.
money. It's
Of
good.
course. Good.
No, it's what you do with it.
What you do with it.
It's what you do with it.
Okay.
And I'm trying to,
Let's ask the ladies then.
all right.
You go to the supermarket too?
Of course I go.
No, you don't. Let's find out from Andre. You go to the supermarket?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Well, everybody can say it.
Yeah,
What
everybody.
would $300 buy you? I mean, it's good. We're not
We
criticizing
want,
it.
we want the $300.
We want it, but we have to be realistic. What will it add to your supermarket?
Well, $300 for the supermarket bill, you will still have to
Not the bill, the car.
The
What will
car.
it add to your supermarket car?
breakfast items,
Mhm.
which would probably some of those things run in the region at $8 or
Sausages and so
more
on.
and stuff like that, and up.
Okay.
Even cheese,
Mhm.
those kind of things.
So it will help.
It would help for some people.
But next month,
That's why I wanted to hear from Derek.
the-
What happens
is
the
the
next month? Yeah,
The
that's
next
the
month.
trauma.
So
So you go and tell your child, well, you can't get the hot dog.
No, I think it depends what you do with it because you may take it and pay a bill. Because that's what
Precisely.
a lot of people can do. They owe somebody for the rent.
Yeah,
for
that's
a
right.
couple of months.
That's right.
And $300 will probably block that hole. Or she wasn't able to buy a dress for the wife for the son or gonna. You were trying to block that hole again. But it is. Mind you, way off. Let us reduce the tax here
Yes,
rather than give people $300.
a one-off payment.
Right? If you take off some of the garbage tax that was
Switch
going for 2
tax.
years,
Precisely.
and so that we get the savings of $90
Yeah.
every week
Yes,
for the next
precisely.
whatever it is. That's the kind of
Precisely.
economics I want practice.
That's the point.
That's what I
That is
think.
what I was getting at.
And
But let's
going back
Sorry,
to
Andre.
this whole idea about morality versus money, I think that this constituency in particular is a good place for that, because when you think of the demographics of this constituency, the Gold Coast.
Right.
Yes.
But
indeed.
when you go off of the Gold Coast
Go up the hill.
and you go into the neighborhoods where the people are almost like being imprisoned by villas.
I saw that.
Being
saw that.
imprisoned by
Yes.
villas. And
Yes.
same people
I
that
like how you put it, imprisoned by villas.
were in these villas, they're not sharing in the level of luxury or economic benefit that the country is supposed to be receiving. We are getting this $300 because the country is doing bountiful,
Yeah.
right?
But still, you're going into a bird, as Michael Howard wrote.
A bird
tree.
tree,
Yes.
which is supposed to be
If there's
harsh.
bounty,
Right.
why you
Why
need
you going into a
recovery
bird tree?
again?
Right.
You're recovering from bounty?
But my thing is that it is an important message because no, this country we're highly taxed, right? And but yet so the Barbadians are not seeing the benefits of it.
Precisely.
And a lot of
Precisely.
us are still living paycheck to paycheck and cannot make ends meet.
Mhm.
And that is where morality versus money comes in, because something immoral is happening where the wealth is not being paid, distributed
Yes.
fairly
Yes.
amongst
Yes.
the people.
Yes.
And something immoral is happening where the average Barbadian don't feel as though you are getting an opportunity to benefit from some of this wealth
Mhm.
and some of this bounty, because $300
Yes.
really and truly is not a benefit from wealth or bounty.
Mhm.
So that is why that topic to me is important. Morality
Mhm.
versus,
Versus
money.
money.
And when you look at the
Under
St.
this
James-
government, which one is winning?
under this government,
The war between morality and money. Which
the
under
government
this
has gone more for the money,
the money, yeah.
and morality has been thrown
Swept aside. Yeah,
swept
yeah.
aside, thrown out with
Yeah.
the bathwater.
You know, Andre, look, we say we are honest voices for the people. And you mentioned the imprisonment of the local population by the villas. I'm going to say something now. We must have the courage to speak on behalf of people who suffer. It's not popular.
Right.
But I went to a house on Saturday. It was, don't want to call the district name. She has her wooden bungalow right there, front road. And there's this expansive development of villa. And the guard wall of that villa almost touches her veranda. All right? And it's this expansive property, but it is up in the back and this long driveway. And right next to her veranda are the garbage cans, about 6 of them
For the villas.
for the villas. And she comes on her veranda and the stench of garbage. And I said, but did you do anything? Did you go to town planning? She said, yes. And she also volunteered that she went to the public health department. I said, no, something has to be done about it.
Yeah.
We must have the courage to be the voice
Yes. Move them
The
from there.
people.
for those who suffer,
The voiceless.
for the poor man, the voiceless. We must have the courage to
Yes,
do that.
Of course.
Again, Andre, morality must engage against money.
Correct.
But listen to what she said. I said, so you come here and you get this stench all the time. I was getting it. I was on her veranda. Tempted to call her name, but I won't. But I want to promise her that we are going to help her. And she said, yes, because one day a rat jumped out of the garbage can and ran through her house. Because of the uneven development you spoke about, with people being imprisoned by the expanse of villas along that coast. And we have to have the courage to speak for poor people.
Yeah.
It was so forced to remove.
That's what
Well,
it
I
is.
think that is it.
Probably
I think that is it. Put the garbage cans right under her
Irritated.
veranda and perhaps offer her a check and she's gone
And we can put another
A
villa
villa.
there.
and put another villa there. Precisely.
Okay.
It's this government.
Yeah.
It's this government.
So the point we make is that under this government, morality has taken
It has no place.
nose.
It has no
It
place.
has no place. It is being literally forced off the landscape.
Fairness.
Yeah. Crime. We cannot end this discussion unless we discuss crime. It affects all of us. None of us has been shocked, but we all live in fear.
The Chief Justice came up this week and made a comment.
Chief Justice,
Yeah.
leave him alone.
Something was said.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, something was
No,
said
no,
today
no,
that-
don't touch that. Don't touch that.
But he said something.
I have no idea. The Chief Justice or the Attorney General?
Chief Justice.
Or you leave that.
I read it today.
We don't want to get in trouble here. Crime. Now, chap doesn't have to be shot at, but a lot of these shootings are drive-by. And it is affecting our lifestyle. A fellow who used to go home and go by the shop, and we see it a lot along this coast in St. James North.
Yeah.
Fellas like me. There are some fellas now who will not lie.
No.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid that somebody drives by and sprays.
Yeah.
You've heard a lot about crime in the constituency, the complaints.
I have, but one of the things I think was very interesting a few nights ago, we did a night canvas, well, an impromptu night canvas because we
Impromptu.
we
Is
have
this
been,
Sunday night
was it Sunday? Yeah, because we were
in
out.
Sion Hill.
Yeah, I think we
I was
were,
concerned for y'all down for those alleys inside.
but I got some concerns about poor lighting in the area.
Mhm.
And I can only make a judgment on it if I went
So this
to
affects women.
Yes,
'Cause-
and that's one of the concerns that they've had, that they have very poor lighting in the area. So I made it my duty to go into the community to look at what is happening. And we went in the evening to have a look. And it's the residents are very honest with us. They tell us exactly what is going on so that we can go in and intervene on their matters. So obviously, in terms of crime, they have a lot of concerns with the debushing that is needed and the poor lighting. And these are issues that have existed for quite a number of years. And I think these are the matters that we have to, advocate urgently, considering the levels of crime in this country, especially for women that work in the hotel industry. When they're coming back, when they're returning at home, they have to deal with that. And what was very hurtful to me, I saw a lot of residents, they use those solar panels to the solar lights to act as street lights. So I mean, it's just so much in the community that we can do in terms of that, just the basic services that people require to be safe in communities. Yes.
All right, we have a comment from Marva Hunt. I am appalled at the increase in begging, especially among women.
When we were on our way here, you remember
the young
Lavekas?
Yeah.
At the automat,
Yeah.
Jack came begging. It's a lot of begging in Barbados.
I would say there is an increase.
Marva says that.
Yeah, there is an increase in the amount of people going to the homeless shelter.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so
the cost of living
Going
is
there for what?
they have no place.
Food or shelter?
Both. They can't afford a place to live. They can't afford to eat. They can't afford to pay bills. So they run to the shelters.
This is the one that got $500,000.
Yes. Is there another one?
Well,
there was just a comment there about the constituency in the case.
Give credit, Andre.
Right.
Who said it?
Becky Rollins. The constituency is a case study for uneven development. So much built up infrastructure and tourism, and still poor lighting.
Excellent.
Which is exactly the point, because even in our canvas, one lady went to her door and she came straight out and say, "There's one thing I want, that light, that light there." Right? And she was very passionate about it.
And she's next to a multi-million-dollar
property. Light was there before and the property
removed it. Yeah. And a simple little $10 light she can't get.
Exactly. And it's right there by a bus pool. And people leaving the same hotels and stuff like that have to leave work at night, go to that bus pool, in particular the women, and stand up there in the dark. And it's also very dangerous as well with traffic, because you know how the traffic flows on that West Coast road.
Yeah.
So those simple things. So it just goes to show that Becky is very right on even development.
Do we as a party, hoping to be a government, have the courage? Will we have the courage to take up these causes for
I'm not wasting my time.
We don't have a choice.
Good.
We don't have a choice.
Exactly, because those are things that I am passionate about.
These are the people who are going to support us,
with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I know how these things affect people. And if I have the opportunity, I would want to make life better for those people.
Yes,
correct.
Yes,
correct.
And we've seen, and that's the importance of St. James North.
It is. I mean,
the prevalence of
that is it. And
uneven development.
And I think that is why, when I speak, I like to share it with Barbadians, because it seems as if the spotlight is on St. James North. And it is my duty to share those concerns, because it may be other constituents may have the same concerns as well. And so it's important that we share those concerns, not to show that it's a constituent that's only been neglected, but that their voices have not been heard for a very long time. And I have been working tirelessly to ensure that their voices are heard. Whether I have been elected or not, I will still advocate on their behalf. When I get elected, I will continue to amplify their concerns as well.
Thank you. You've heard of, in your canvassing, anyone spoke about crime?
Yes. As we all know by now, my constituency is Christchurch West Central. We've had a shooting in Silver Hill recently, 13-year-old boy. So crime is a major issue in my constituency. In St. James North, we went into Bakerswood. This is a gated community. This is a community that is usually seen safe.
Mhm.
When we spoke to some of the constituents, they seem to have like a lurker in the area. That's a major issue.
Bakerswood.
Bakerswood, yeah. One of the constituents even spoke to me about drugs, the drugs being in the area, the distribution of drugs in the area.
Mhm.
So that is a major concern as well. The gun shootings haven't reached that constituency as much as other areas in the island, but the recent one would be the one in Holton.
Mhm.
Yeah, the 20-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that hurt. He's a child. He was a child.
Yeah, so crime is reaching all over the country.
Melissa,
Mhm.
we promised that we're in the middle of an election, so we're doing some hard politics here tonight. You don't mind? You're not scared?
No.
Good. When you were going to the funeral at the little 13-year-old boy who died,
Mhm.
and you asked me if I was coming, I said no, I couldn't make it. I said you go. And again, I remember saying to you, Melissa, go to the funeral. It's all about dignity. You go, you pay your respects, and you leave.
Leave, yeah.
A lot of people have told us that that funeral was turned into a political event.
Mhm.
The whole cabinet turned up, and people carrying on. You were there. What
Yeah.
were your impressions?
Yeah, I agree with the comments that were made. You saw probably about 15 members of parliament and cabinet down there. Everything was posted on social media.
Yeah.
You saw the ministers, congregating around the
Yes,
family
yes,
constantly, always wanted to be seen in the
media event.
camera. Yes.
Yeah.
So it was
It's vulgar.
publicized. Yeah. It shows that there was no real empathy or care towards the family. It was just all publicized, It was a public show.
Yeah.
But the thing that really dropped my attention to that was the next day in Nelson Street.
Same day.
So it was the same day.
Same day.
A couple of kids got they died bruised. Like,
One at the back of the
Right.
4-year-old boy.
But I ain't seen that the ministers
Precisely.
point out
Precisely.
how the kids do, how to deal with the trauma.
But somebody dies and you're asking to speak at the funeral.
Yeah. And it
Cannot, and the grandmother's wailing, because remember her wailing
Oh, yeah,
to the
yeah,
minister,
yeah.
Attorney General, Dale Marshall,
Yeah,
you need to
I think
do
it was
something
played
about
on
this.
Saturday night at the launch of Gospel Fest.
Facts.
Yeah.
And up to this day, not a word was uttered from the Attorney General on that matter.
And we had another murder last night in Whitehall.
Yeah,
didn't know that.
Second Avenue.
Yeah.
I saw the picture on social media. It's getting in, we can't say getting on the hand. It's
And
on
the
the hand.
government is not doing anything. The AG is not speaking to it.
Mhm.
The AG is not saying what are their strategies. All we're hearing, crime is not a political issue.
But if I ask you a question, or the common leader, if you get paid not to be bad and the money run out,
We laugh at it, Derek, but
It's trying to be
this is
practical.
a national scandal.
Yes. So if I got money because it was violent. So if I want more money, well, it has to be
Precisely.
it have to be violent.
And these people are claiming to be a good government.
Man, come on. I'm not encouraging anybody to get violent, but I'm saying if you come and pay me
Trade union.
not to be violent
Mhm.
And the money runs out.
and the money run out, well, I can't expect you to come and pay me up the violence.
But there, up to now, they haven't told Barbadians how much money was paid into that program.
So we could get that, it was 8,000.
I had heard it was
Morality
7.5.
versus money, because at the end of the day, maybe even if you paying somebody not to cause violence, you know who should be locked.
Because you pay them.
Because you're paying.
Well, as we said at the last meeting, the new minister said, as soon as he got the baton, I'm going to meet with the
criminal.
he called gang leader.
Gang
leaders,
But the outgoing minister tell you the battle on 30.
Yeah.
He said, well, I'm going to meet with the man.
So if you know who to meet with,
Yeah,
you should be providing information to
the police. Yeah.
so that they should have a long list of persons to arrest.
And that's the country we're living in, Andre.
And Barbadians would not have a problem waking up in the morning hearing this house was raided, that house was raided, and these persons
and guns taken away.
Yeah. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. But they're disclaiming responsibility for crime.
You have to do something about it. Morality versus money.
Are we going to win? Is morality going to win?
Morality
It
has
has to
better
win.
win.
It has to win.
Otherwise, there's no place for us.
It has to win. We may not win yesterday or tomorrow, but it has to win. If morality does not find its rightful place in Barbados,
In the politics of Barbados.
then this country is in a hopeless situation.
And you know what will
And
feed
no-
that hopelessness, Andre? Apathy. If people throw up their hands and say, look, I done with it. I ain't voting.
Mm.
We have to give them, the people of Barbados, that option. That's why I say our manifesto has to be so different.
Correct. And against what people would say too, political will can make a difference. Political will can reduce costs of living in this country.
Precisely.
Because then you
Precisely.
would determine how are you going to reckon your taxes, which taxes are important and which one you can sacrifice for the benefit of the people. Political will determine which social programs you are
Correct.
going to introduce
Correct.
to take young people away from crime and give them an alternative avenue. So do not say that it is not political. If you have the political will to deal with the current situation, you will deal with it, and the country is on board to have it dealt with. So don't say that the country is not on board with it.
All right, we have a comment online from Judy Moody. Crime is not just a community issue, it's a matter of governance.
Yes.
The administration is accountable for creating policies, enforcing laws, and ensuring the safety of its people. Mere Motley.
Of its people.
Yep.
Yeah. Comment. Thanks. Who was it?
Judy.
Judy Moody.
Moody.
Judy. Thanks very much,
I
Judy.
think she hit the nail on the head.
Yes, she did.
Morality has to win, so at least the audience are.
Who is that? Kelly?
Kelly.
Who is she? Thanks, Kelly.
And then someone saying that the government is about optics. Joshua Strong.
Well said. Well said.
Very true.
See, that's why this campaign now is about blitz again.
Yeah.
Blitz again. You know, you hear the music. We had all the band too, but they brought in truckloads.
Yeah.
But ours was effective.
We went indigenous.
We went down and said we were not black Ranji, we were sweet. We were melody. We were melody.
It wasn't
On that, let us talk about entertainment and this government, how this government uses and manipulates entertainment for the purpose of getting young people's attention, not in a good way.
Look, we went to picnic
Sorry?
house, we went to our picnic house in Michael North.
Northwest, yeah.
And we had 10 buses. We had elderly people. And had a karaoke.
You sang?
Not me. we had children flying kites.
Good wholesome activity.
Yeah, football.
Yeah.
Hopscotch. It was called potato and spoon, not called yango egg.
Yeah. Too expensive.
Tree foot racing. Horseback riding races. Community activities.
Yes, that we lost.
Community.
That we've
And
lost.
we had blowing yellow kites flying.
Really?
Yes.
No rain?
No race. We had community activities. They had a cricket match playing, and then we sat down and cheered and watched some of the cricket. And then when the cricket is finished, we went and had the games with the kids running, races and things. That's what picnics should be about. Not long necks and short necks, and who could gyrate the most. That is not what Barbados is about.
Derek, you and I talk a lot about community life in our day.
Yes.
We're going to get it back.
We
look at
can't
it
get
again,
back what we
what
had.
we had.
But
But
we can
come in,
find,
you
we can,
must
we,
find,
and that was
is
that
there a role for the government in promoting?
leading. The government should be leading.
Right,
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what
That's why what Judy Moody said is so
correct.
important,
Yes.
that the government has a role and a responsibility in policy formation,
Creating the
Yes.
environment for things to
creating
happen.
the environment for it. You have a community development division, you have all kinds of resources at your disposal, but then you tell people, oh, crime is not a political issue. No, you have the resources there, including the resource of the police service.
You know, I like to use the definition of politics is policy about who gets what, when, and how.
Yeah.
Generally, the one that do that. That's all it is. That's all it
Melissa
is.
wanted to read something.
Yeah, there's a comment online. As a first-time voter, I would like to hear from the candidate. They wanted to hear from Felicia.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
In terms of crime, in terms of the government, in terms of entertainment,
Yeah.
okay,
what-
you wanna,
yeah.
okay, sure.
Andre will not know this word, the scrubbers. You know
Yes.
that word, Andre?
Scrubbers,
Scrubbers.
that was a band.
No. The scrubbers, it was a took band. And we used to
Okay.
call them the scrubbers. You knew that word, right?
That was the
Scrubbers.
Whitehall. That was for Whitehall.
No, it was not the name. We used to call a tuck band was the
No,
scrubbers.
but I thought when y'all used to, when I used to use that in Whitehall.
No, presents, please.
But we didn't call our scrubbers.
No, you would say the scrubbers coming.
Oh, yeah, what you mean? That
A tuck
concept.
band was called the scrubbers.
Okay.
Shame on you there.
No, we had to start my right next door to me.
And you didn't refer to them as the scrubbers?
But not me.
Well, on Christmas
But
morning.
then
when they
again,
came
I
around-
be a little older than you. But they old living
when they coming around Christmas morning,
morning.
they say the
Oh,
scrubbers
okay,
coming
scrubbers
around.
coming, yeah.
And they used to ask for
A
food.
little,
So,
yeah. A little thing
Just-
to rest the throat.
Yeah, just thought I'd-
Let me the ham to stop the court. Yeah.
Just thought I'd share that.
Yeah.
Yes. So Felicia,
The young people want to hear you.
somebody wanted to hear you on crime. I think it was crime.
Not crime, in general.
General.
In
General.
general.
A
First
first-time
time
voter.
voter.
Just
Yeah.
let them know you're having a meeting.
Yes,
Reston tomorrow night.
Yes,
You said
tomorrow night.
Reston tomorrow night at what time?
at 7,
And
and I,
this lady has to speak
Mhm.
tomorrow night. She
Mm.
spoke today. She
Mm.
was nominated today. She's been talking a lot. She's been living with a coffee mug next door. So give her a little chance. But they want
but
to
I think it's important, and I have met a number of first-time voters,
Mhm.
including older persons,
Really?
which is very concerning at the same time. And I think it's important that people understand why it's important to vote, because when you vote, you're expressing that democratic right that is given to you, and the government or the state or anyone can infringe upon that. And so it's important that not only that person say that you want to see who the candidate is, but you also want to know where I stand on certain policies. What do I think in terms of what the government is doing, and how could I amplify your voice? Particularly as a human rights person, I believe that my role primarily is to speak up on your behalf, to ensure that no one infringes on that basic right, that the government does not overarch its power or authority. So the question that was raised in terms of entertainment, in terms of crime, I think we have a government that is hypocritical. It is hypocritical because it tells you one thing and it does something entirely differently. So it tells you about crimes, but then it funds criminals. And that's very concerning by doing that. So that is the hypocrisy of this government, that it tells young persons that we do not want you to be violent, but then you'd want the type of music, the type of displays of violence within the society. And so as a leader, I think it's important that the government recognize that you have a role and responsibility in the society. And what very much is concerning for me is that I'm seeing too many young men are dying. too many of our young males are dying. And as a mother of boys, it triggers certain types of emotion because every time I hear it, it's a son we have lost. And I think that is something that we have to think about, that this government does not really care about the youth the way that we should. It speaks about everything else, but it doesn't recognize that the youth plays an important role within the development of this country, that we have to take their concerns very seriously. We have to ensure that we provide them with the opportunities, the training, and perhaps just inspire them, because they're citizens as well. They're just not random people, just living. They're citizens, and we have to respect them as citizens. And I think as voters, we have that right. And I think it's important that all voters, especially first-time voters, that it's where you become, your power becomes very paramount in this society, because you have something that contributes to the development of this country. So as a citizen, you're working in partnership with the government. By electing someone to represent your voice, you're working in partnership with that person. And what you're saying is that we do not want someone that only thinks about you during times of fetting, or we have a party, or we have something. You want to represent someone that will enable you to see yourself in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, someone that will inspire you, someone that will speak on your behalf, and someone that will ensure that you live. And that is very important. Right now, this election and this society that we live in, it's about saving lives. We have gotten to the point where we have to start talking about saving the lives of young men. It's almost like we're living in a crisis period. Very same way that when we went through the pandemic, everybody was doing everything to protect themselves. We now have to think, how are we going to protect our young men from dying? Because every day, this is what we're hearing. So every time I pass in the constituency and I see young men and I speak with them, I want to see you in the next 10, 20, if God spare my life, 50 years. I want to see you retire well. I want to see you do well. And this is what I want to see for every Barbadian youth, especially first-time voters, that you give me that trust to ensure that you do well. Because there is a period of time where some of us may not have gotten that guidance. And this is what I'm seeing in our society, that the majority of young persons do not have the mentorship that they need. They do not have the role models that they need. Most of them just need someone to guide them and take them where, but that we all need. We all had that. Someone had to guide us.
This is what
Yes.
this is what the Democratic Labour Party is offering
Yes.
to the people of St. James North. This is what the Democratic Labour Party
Yes.
is offering to the Parliament of Barbados. Felicia
Yes.
and panel. Does it make we have 29 seats in the House at present. The Barbados Labour Party has 28. You've heard Felicia. Does it make sense to give them the 30th seat, or to give the Democratic Labour Party its second seated party?
Well,
I know the answer, they'll say it is self-serving, but
yeah, but if you
look at
give
democracy
them
and
another one, it doesn't change.
it doesn't change anything.
But if you give the opposition another one, first, as I said earlier, you get a chance.
It can only get better.
You get a chance to get a resolution second.
Precisely. That's true too. That's true too.
Yes.
And they're not gonna heckle you.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah, Andre,
There was a good comment there by lady, right? It's two, right? When, and this is talking about entertainment,
credit her, please.
right? Tanya Black Girl Magic. When harnessed effectively, entertainment can provide motivation and drive positive change among youth, fostering creativity and encouraging personal growth. Conversely, when used irresponsibly, it may propagate harmful stereotypes, unrealistic expectations, and negative role models. And that is the situation that you are,
that makes the statement
right. What we are facing today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, morality versus money.
Yeah, and Andre, we have moved away from the arts and the creative arts and our creativity into a kind of vulgar, and Shakwani made the point when she was there, we've sexualized entertainment. In our day, it wasn't sexualized in the way it is now. And we said it as a party that we need to bring back the wholesome arts to children's lives. Less than a week later, the Minister of Culture was copying us here and saying the same thing.
Yeah, repeating it.
They're saying it, but they're not doing it.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Hypocrites. hypocritical.
Yeah. Derek, you and I grew up in the Barbados. Dance groups all over the place, folk singing groups. The minister say he's going to form some.
They keep doing that.
Right. We have another comment online from Judy Moody.
Mhm.
You first-time voters, this is your chance to stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
Every generation shapes history. This is your chance to make that change.
Excellent. Thanks, Judy. Thanks very much. Derek.
Sorry, I was.
Oh, you really do?
No, I am as a former employee with your service.
Mhm.
I always have to make the statement that you can see where government is going by the way it treats programs that are instituted to drive a thinking behavior.
Yeah.
The youth center, the home of youth service, started in 2016.
Mhm.
It has not moved since. Up behind the airport.
Really?
It needs attention, and because it represents the opportunity for the young people to go into residential setting where interaction, behavior modification, those things happen when you get into the residential part of the program because you're pulled away from your community 3 months. Okay, and you get into a program who you really are, what kind of personality you have, where you're going with your life. That is the critical part of the youth development program.
Yeah.
This is the discourse I do not hear in Parliament.
You're not going to hear it.
And every time a minister he identifies a problem, you know what he says? Or she, but we need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I hate to hear them with it. We need to have a conversation,
Yes,
and this conversation never takes place. It's a cliche that is used to cover up ignorance on policy and so on.
It's every time I hear one of these young people get involved in the shooting, I think about my 4 years at the Barbados Youth Service and some of the people that went through that program and the lives that they have led.
Yeah.
And I came down by immigration this morning, and a young lady stopped me and said, "Mr. Alleyne, from the youth service?" I said, "Yes, I can remember." She's a woman now. I mean, this is
And she
19.
came through the service?
Yes, and she was talking to me, telling she had some health challenges and so on, but she's making it and so on. And we had a program where quickly we recognized if we're going to deal with building young people for tomorrow, that you needed to take them away from the environments that some of them were in.
Exactly.
So that you can change behavior, change attitudes, build relationships. And so on.
But you know that
Yes.
this country had all of the programs necessary to address the issues happening in Barbados, but this government, when they came to office, stopped them.
Yes.
One classic example is the BDF sports
Yeah.
program.
Yes. I always talk about people.
Not
He
exactly.
praises it a lot.
Right. Not a better example of this is the way home because
Why
and this is what-
they stopped it?
because of money.
Been
Because of
funded
the
somewhere
IMF.
else.
Really?
Because
A
of
government
the
that
IMF.
squanders so much money on nonsense would stop a BDF program
Because
to help young people off the streets
It
and
was
to
helping the young
prepare them
people.
for professional careers in sport.
and this is where now it needed to be taken into another gear.
Right.
Because you're hearing this is the avenue, the gateway to get more young people into professional sport.
But we gave $27 million to White Oak.
Yeah.
$27 million to White Oak.
Yeah, but that's too much.
And we are
for-
complaining about money.
That's too much
Young
for
people.
the young people from Sand Hill. That's too much for the young people from Waterford. That's too much from the
Silver Hill.
young people from Silver Hill. And it is money that could be better spent because you would not have so much crime going on in this country right now. Every single program that could benefit this country, this government stopped, including the constituency councils, including the programs at the community centers, which used to open at night, mind you.
Yes.
And now they have to advertise for a board to keep the community centers open
And to keep the
evening.
keys.
And to keep
You know, Andre, if you have rampant crime, opening or closing is not going to be an issue. People will not.
Go.
So
Yeah.
this crisis of crime is hitting at the very heart of our society
But
and
don't
spiraling into
don't
every
forget that there's a Thorne
every
report. There's a Thorne report on local government that has
wouldn't
been
use it.
completed.
They would use it if they take off my name. I don't mind my name coming
But
out.
yeah, but tell them, give them the credit. Tell them go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do
You
it.
can
They would use
imagine
it
that is a
for local
recognition
government.
that we need to bring some of our government programs back into local communities and strengthen decision making at a different level.
Mhm.
That has tremendous potential to deal with crime.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It has
And we
tremendous.
had discussed that.
Yeah,
We deliberated for over 2 years.
it is one of the answers
Yes.
because
Yes.
you build interaction
And
across
relationship,
communities
yes.
and different levels.
Yes.
And the government got it in a drawer
Sitting down. And-
because Ralph Thorne is the chairman.
And you know what? They tell you that they cannot find money for simple programs to benefit people, but they found the money for regathering.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Thanks, Andre. On the last day of this financial year, 31st March, they snuck into Parliament
Mm.
and voted. I'm saying it into the camera. I'm on camera. Director. This government voted $14 million for regathering. Well, they added on something about independence. Small money. Chunk money, as the Americans say. This government voted $14 million for regathering. And the people are abandoning regathering. And we've abandoned regathering. We never went into it in the first place because we've argued that regathering is using taxpayers' money to benefit the Barbados Labour Party. And that, again, is corruption. It's an abuse of financial power to use taxpayers' money to boost the chances of a party with an election pending. I say to the people of Barbados, we say to the people of Barbados as a party,
Yes.
do not support regathering. It is an abuse of power. It is an abuse of public funds to boost the chances of the Barbados Labour Party at the next election. And I think we've reached the people because they're trying to embrace
Everything.
the dance.
Queue in the community.
Queue in the
Queue in the
community.
community.
Come
Yeah.
queue in the community on a Saturday.
And I am reliably told that the queue in the community crowd not too keen on it when it is joined with
Because the
gathering.
waters done what they're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, it's organic. It's something they started, and the government comes and contaminates it with a corrupt scheme called regathering, using taxpayers' money to boost the Barbados Labour Party.
I want
Yes,
to
so
ask
the
a
public
question.
needs to know this.
What was the Labor Day statement this year for Labor Day?
No, they-
Anybody remember any
No.
statement about Labor Day?
No,
No.
Jordan went up there and said that the minimum
10
wage is
10.50.
10.50. In fact, somebody had a comment about the contract because we are told, and we are honest voices for the people, that they will increase the minimum wage, but then some employers shorten the hours.
The hour.
Of course,
Yeah.
that has been happening. And I think the union has raised an issue, but I don't know whether they went with it. They just threatened to do something about it. But if I have a budget of $10,000 for workers, and you tell me I got $200 more or whatever,
Mhm.
well then I do my division.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And you getting 36 hours last thing, okay, I only 34. My budget will come back to the same thing. Because if I am building more revenue, maybe then I don't have the activity to increase my revenue.
Mhm.
So what government is ready to do to deal with the taxes?
Yes.
Give the
Yes.
people more money to spend.
Mhm.
Yes, you want, and then you can adjust the minimum wage. You say minimum wage, thanks.
Mhm.
But the 30 cents they can get now because it's going to get worse with the time now.
Mhm.
It is just a political thing.
Yes.
This is brought. It's about the politics of the moment,
Mhm.
not about the investment in the worker. Not in investment worker. Take off some of the taxes and you invest workers, strengthen their capacity to buy and to pay bills. But if you keep taxing them every day, then you keep making them pay out of their pockets every day. They got beg, they got forego this, forego that. Reduce some of the taxes. That's the answer.
Reduce them.
Yeah.
I wanted to, on this question of taxes, I wanted to look at roadworks in Barbados.
Oh dear.
Everywhere you go now,
It's terrible.
we're supposed to be impressed with this roadworks program, and we keep telling people, Andre, that every time you go to the gas station, you pay taxes, you pay road taxes.
Yes.
And we Barbadians need to start asking the question, Why have we been paying heavily in road taxes over the last few years? Road taxes,
Yes,
every time
yes,
you
yes.
fill up your tank.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, you're fixing the roads.
Million chip.
Or whatever they call it. What was happening all the time? When the roads weren't being repaired, where was the money going? Again, everything is cynical. Everything is an election program. So we need to tell our Barbadian people that this road
Million road.
repair is not impressive.
Right.
We're not impressed by it. Ought to have been done all along.
Continuously. And the question, we were paying this money for transport and the gasoline too, and they'd go and beg the Chinese for 30 buses. What a big country. Going to beg for buses. And give Barbados 30 buses.
The Americans said there's nothing called a free lunch.
No, so I want to know what is the catch? What is it costing us? I hope it has nothing to do with the rusted houses.
That's the thing, and that's what another reason why this election is important, because transparency has gone out the window.
Yes.
Because we hear about these things and they're paraded before us as a gift. Could you think of other situations that were paraded before us as a gift, and then to hear that the land was given away?
Yes. A lady told me about the giveaway land, the land that was given away today. Barbadians feel very strongly about it.
Of course.
Very, very strongly. You're hearing about it.
Yes. And they were speaking that they would have preferred it was.
You've heard it in St. James North?
St. James North, they're pretty, I wish to applaud them because they have been following what has been happening. And I think they'll make a very informed decision when the time is right. One of the concerns that they did have is that they would have preferred that it was something beneficial to the people of Barbados, like the extension of the hospital, something that would be practical for Barbadians. And I think these are the kinds of concerns that have been raised. And it seems very strange that their current candidate does not realize that his government has a lot to answer
a lot to answer for.
And he has to
and he wants to go into the house and give the answers.
He's not really going
but
to the house.
But we need somebody in the house who will ask the questions.
Right, we need to ask the questions. They have a lot to answer to the people of Barbados, because, and I thought it was humorous when I saw that his campaign manager is Minister of Works. But then you go around and you see the roads, like what has been happening? You know, these are the kinds of concerns, and you've been in the constituency for over a year. These are, I believe that the people of St. James North, they have been taking notes. And if you notice, we went to a house where a young lady had her notes. She sat us down. She brought us water. And she was just asking those questions. And it wasn't, and I admired
you
that.
Passed the test.
I admired that. I admired that because and she's not the only one. Because when I go to the and most of the constituents, this is what they do. They ask questions. What do you think about that? This is happening.
38, I think.
Yeah, she's very young. Most of those young, and as I said before, many of those constituents, they have questions, and I answer those questions because you have to be informed.
Going to the houses.
I have to go to the houses. It's my responsibility and my duty to go to the houses. I need to know who my constituents are. I need to know how they live. I need to know what the concerns that they have. I need to know, most importantly, who they are. I need to know, I need to know who they are. I need to see their smiles. I need to see their concerns. And this is what engagement is about, going to the community and knowing them. So I have developed friendships as well. There is a family with a little girl, and she calls me every other night to video call me. So these are the kinds of relationships, human contact that you need as a candidate. And it cannot be something very remote that, you need to come, you need to come to me, very entitled. They have that sense, this government and the candidate have this sense of an entitlement. You don't have a choice. You must vote for me. And these are so these are, I think it's important that people understand that when the time is right, I believe that the people will make the right decision.
And they must be told that he adds no value to the parliament. This parliament adds no value whatsoever. Hinkson walks out and he walks away.
Right. That is
What changes that? There is no change
Right,
involved in
right.
that. That's
No.
what the people of Barbados need to
No, and we can't deal with
There.
that element of arrogance as we saw how he treated the teachers.
Yes, yes,
Um,
and then accuse you of promoting a strike.
Yeah, and that was very
Reckless.
dishonest. That was
Yeah, it was
very
reckless.
reckless,
Yeah,
dishonest,
yeah.
and dangerous
Yeah.
because it
Mhm.
gives the public the impression that not only myself but teachers do, underhanded kinds of matters, and it's not. It raises questions about the integrity of myself and teachers.
Mhm.
And as a minister of education transformation, I thought that was really, really dangerous and
Low.
reckless
Look,
to do. So when you see that kind of behavior, I am again appealing to the constituents that be very aware. When someone shows you who they are, believe
the
them.
people. Yeah, yeah.
Believe them. You've seen that, and
You were very good with the children, by the way.
I think I'm a teacher by nature and a mother. So when I see children's faces, I see my children in them too. So it's it was great to see them after going through that process, and then they were right there smiling and waving, and it was a blessing.
I want
To
to say
see
to you
that.
that I've canvassed with you,
You
and
need
there's
to
something
keep up.
with the women. When I keep up, yeah. And I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. They're treating you like a daughter.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes, yes.
Middle to senior women.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
I think it's a great feeling. It's almost like a sisterhood that they see me and they see how hard I'm fighting. So they come, they embrace, they ask, do you want water? Do you need to sit down for a minute? Because I go very quickly. But it also shows the kindness of Barbadians, the hospitality of Barbadians. So they know that I'm a candidate, but they also welcome me in their homes. They welcome me into their lives because I'm in their lives right now. And so I think it's a remarkable journey for us.
We are coming to the end, and I'm not going to let you leave unless I say to you and to the voters in St. James North, and I'm going to be very careful with my language, but I'm going to make the point all the same, that we reject any efforts, going to be very big, made by public officials in Barbados to disqualify you
Thank you.
from running.
Yeah.
That's
They
as
have.
much as I'm going to say now.
Yes.
But a lot more will be said later there.
yes.
And I'm going to repeat it, that we reject any efforts made by any public official to disqualify Ms. Felicia Dujon, who is a citizen of this country, who is married to a Barbadian man, who is the mother of 2 sons born in Barbados. We reject any effort to disqualify Ms. Felicia Dujon from contesting this election. We reject any government that is so desperate,
They have been.
to maintain a 29-1 parliament, that any inquiry would be made towards the possible disqualification of Ms. Dujon. Barbadians need to understand
Yes.
what is happening in this
Yes.
country. Barbadians need to understand what is happening with this election.
Yes.
Barbadians need to understand why the government considers this election so important. And Barbadians need to vote for this lady sitting to my right.
Thank you.
Well said.
Yeah? Come
23rd.
May
21st.
21st. Closing statements. Derek?
I just want to remind them that tomorrow we launch the campaign at Weston. Yes, and
Public meeting?
it's a public meeting, and we're going to make sure that it is streamed. That's the word.
Streamed.
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 But we still want some of you to come out and
Lots of you.
lots of you and interact with us.
Yes.
Come
Yes.
and
Come and
interact.
meet the candidate.
Yes,
Who are
come.
these dynamic speakers apart from you?
Well, of course, the candidate will speak.
Candidate, yes.
Right? The leader has to speak.
Yeah.
The campaign manager.
The campaign
Campaign
manager has to
manager.
speak, and two others.
2 others.
And we won't call the other 2 yet.
Secret weapons.
No, because we have to confirm with them.
Oh, boy.
Because we will have the conversation. So we have to give them notice that we are on the
So
team.
Derek, manage, and the speaker,
And the leader.
and the leader. So 4 was so far.
Yeah.
Good team.
And the others.
And that's tomorrow night at Weston,
Yeah, and then
7 o'clock.
Thursday we want to go to the WIM and do a spot meeting to recon, because we went there already. So
We're doing it spot meeting concept, or
we can do this spot meeting in the room on
Okay.
Thursday,
at what time?
and that's at 7.
7 o'clock.
6 or 6, yes, 6.
Thought 7 was
But
early.
we can do Ashton. So we can do the 6 o'clock at the room on Thursday.
On
And
Thursday.
instead we come in to reconnect because we've canvassed already,
Yes.
and there's some little specific things we want to discuss with the
Okay.
people in the room. So we're
Okay.
coming back to them
But fresh in your mind, tomorrow night, Western,
7 p.m.
this is done by really
Fish market.
Fish market.
Okay, and we have a lot to
Fried
say
fishes.
about the fish vendors and so on.
excellent,
Yeah, a lot to
excellent,
say.
excellent,
Yes,
excellent.
yes. They may think that we've forgotten, but we've not forgotten.
Thank you. Final, coming to you last. Final words. Campaign has been going well for you. New experience. You're
Yeah.
enjoying it.
Yeah, everything is going well. The love and support is there for Felicia. So to the constituents that are in St. James now that are listening, if you want to hear from her further, you can come out tomorrow and listen to her. There are other meetings throughout the week. So just get out there and come out and hear what she has to say and meet your candidate.
Manage.
Well,
That's how sportsmen say it.
Okay. I am looking forward for the progression of this campaign, especially with our meeting tomorrow night, because we really do have a lot to say to not just the constituents of St. James North, but Barbadians as well. So tune in and reach out to as many people that you know from the constituency and rally your support behind the winning candidate, Ms. Felicia Dujon, because at the end of the day, the important thing, get numbers out to vote on the 21st of May for Felicia Dujon.
Thanks. Well said. A young man told me today he's praying for us. And I get those messages
Every
all
day,
the
yes,
time.
I do.
People invoking divine guidance for us. Felicia, your closing words. It's been
I just
quite a time.
It has, and I just want to thank the people of St. James North and the people of Barbados for the support. I will continue to be your humble servant. I will continue to visit as many constituents as possible. If you haven't seen me, you're free to call and I will come to you, and I will continue to do my best for this country and for the constituents.
Thank you very much. Melissa wants us to end by reading Judy Moody's comment.
Yeah.
Put those young eyes on it.
All right. Constituents of St. James North, young and old, do not stay at home. Get out there and vote. Our future is depending on it. Well said.
And by that, Judy Moody means the future of democracy in this country. We need to have a parliament that is moving back towards its democratic traditions.
And tomorrow.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much. You've been a fine audience. We also had a live audience in here. Sometimes more live than we had planned. But we're back on Thursday night with Youth Vibes. You making it?
I will try.
No, you get some rest. You get some rest. We don't want you to burn up before.
No, she can't come.
So Thursday night, we're back. We'll see you tomorrow night at our Western meeting, which will be streamed. A word Derek was introduced to tonight. For him, it's on TV. It's on YouTube. So, good show. Thanks a lot.
Good night.
In the diaspora and in Barbados. Bye. See you on
night.
Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Oh yes, guns them, cans them. Hear the cries in the streets at night. So many dreams born out like light. Youths them caught in a system cold, chasing shadows that take their soul. But the rhythm of hope is strong. Feel the beat it guide us along. Plant the seed of change in the ground and reap the fruits of love from this song. I'm sure we can rise from the shadows as we shine. Through the pain and the sorrows, leave the darkness behind. For the youths and the future, let the healing begin. In the rhythm of we island, let love pull us in. So come from the dusk till dawn, as we rise up every morn. We'll fly through the skies like plane. All people will rise again. Hand in hand is how we'll start. Everyone can play their